They say time heals all wounds, but that's not true, is it? Some wounds hide. They sink deep into your psyche, buried under years of growing up, pretending, surviving. You smile, you work, you even love, but something in you never quite settles. And late at night, when the noise stops, it stirs. A silent ache, a subtle emptiness, like something essential went missing before you even knew what it was. This is not just emotional pain. It's not just trauma in the clinical sense. This is a spiritual wound formed in childhood, masked by adulthood, and ignored by almost everyone. But it's there, quietly shaping your choices, relationships, and even your identity. And until you name it, understand it, and face it, it will run your life from the shadows. Let's go back. Not just to the events of your childhood, but to the experience of it. You weren't just growing physically, your sense of self was forming. Your nervous system was learning the world. And your soul, yes, your soul, was either being nourished or slowly starved. Did you feel seen? Truly, deeply seen, did you feel safe? Not just physically, but emotionally. Was it safe to be yourself, to express, to cry, to play, to ask? Because if not, then something else happened. You learned to split. What was acceptable about you remained visible. The others, your truth, your sensitivity, your wildness, your anger, went into hiding. You changed to stay alive. At the time, it felt like strength to adapt, but there was a price for it. You lost parts of your spirit in the process. It's not always abuse or neglect that causes this. Sometimes it's the subtle, chronic denial of your emotional reality. Maybe your parents loved you, but didn't understand you. Maybe they were emotionally distant. Or perhaps they made their love conditional on your achievements or behavior. Over time, you learned, I must become someone else to be loved. I must betray myself to be accepted. That's the beginning of the spiritual wound. It's the moment your inner truth was exiled for the sake of survival. And from that day forward, a pattern began. You might have become hyper-independent, never asking for help. Or the opposite, constantly seeking validation, afraid of being left. You might have attracted emotionally unavailable partners or always felt like something was missing in your relationships. You might have become obsessed with success, chasing approval through achievements. But none of it filled the void, because the wound was never in your life circumstances. It was in your soul. The spiritual wound manifests not just as depression or anxiety, but as a deep, wordless disconnection from your essence. You might feel chronically empty. You might go through life achieving, creating, connecting, but it all feels distant. Like you're watching yourself live, rather than truly living. This wound also distorts your relationship with yourself. You become your own harshest critic. You sabotage good things. You mistrust your own desires. Why? Because the original message was, you are not enough as you are. That belief became your blueprint, and here's the terrifying part. You began recreating your childhood dynamics in your adult life. Not consciously, of course, but unconsciously, you sought out what was familiar, even if it hurt. Why? Because your nervous system thought that was home. That was love. That was reality. Healing isn't about blaming anyone. It's not about demonizing your parents, your teachers, or anyone from your past. It's about finally turning toward the pain you've been avoiding your entire life. And it starts with recognition. Most people don't even know they're carrying this wound. They normalize their pain. They think, that's just how life is. They confuse numbness with peace. But deep inside, something in them is crying for attention. So let me ask you, When was the last time you sat in silence and listened to what's underneath your distractions? Because the wound speaks. It just doesn't use words. It uses patterns. Chaos in relationships. Restlessness in stillness. Exhaustion from wearing a mask too long. The wound shows up every time you betray yourself to make others comfortable. And the longer you ignore it, the louder it becomes. But here's the truth, and you need to hear this. You're not broken. You were never broken. You were wounded. And the wound is not who you are. It's where you were hurt. Once you see it, everything changes. You begin to realize that your anxiety isn't a flaw. It's a signal. That your people-pleasing isn't weakness. It's a survival strategy. That your fear of vulnerability isn't irrational. It was learned in a world that didn't feel safe enough. This awareness is painful at first, but it's also liberating. Because once you understand that these patterns were learned, you can begin to unlearn them. You can stop blaming yourself for things that were never your fault. You can start grieving, not just what happened, but what didn't happen. The love you didn't get, the protection you needed, the validation that was never offered. Grief is sacred. It's the bridge between who you were forced to become and who you truly are. And that's the real journey, coming back to yourself. It's not about fixing anything. It's about remembering that before you were taught shame, you were whole. Before you were told to quiet your emotions, you were expressive. Before the world made you small, you were expansive. Healing doesn't mean the wound disappears. It means it no longer defines you. It becomes part of your story, not the author of it. But don't be fooled. This isn't a quick fix. It's a process. And it requires honesty, patience, and a lot of self-compassion. You'll have to sit with discomfort. You'll have to face the parts of yourself you've tried to silence for years. You'll have to walk through the pain instead of around it. But every step is worth it. Because on the other side of that pain is your freedom, your authenticity, your peace, your power. And maybe for the first time, you'll feel like you're here, fully alive, fully present, fully yourself. Let's continue. Healing starts with awareness, but it deepens through connection. And the first connection you must restore is the one with your inner child. Because that's where the wound began, the child within you. The one who was silenced, ignored, shamed, or misunderstood is still waiting. Not for your parents, not for the world, but for you. And until you turn toward that part of you with compassion, it will keep pulling strings in your life from the shadows. So how do you reconnect? Start by listening. Find a quiet moment. Sit with your eyes closed. Breathe slowly. And gently ask, what part of me is still hurting? You might feel resistance. That's normal. But stay. You're not doing this to analyze or fix. You're doing it to witness, to validate. Tell that inner child, I see you. I hear you. I'm here now. And I won't abandon you again. It might sound strange. But this is how reparenting begins. You become the safe space you never had. You offer the love, protection, and acceptance that weren't available, not through fantasy, but through intentional presence. As you do this more often, you'll notice something powerful. Your patterns will begin to loosen. You'll stop reacting from old wounds and start responding from new awareness. You'll stop chasing love and start embodying it. But don't expect it to be linear. Some days you'll feel empowered. Other days, the pain will feel fresh again. Healing doesn't go in straight lines, it spirals. And that's okay. What matters is your commitment to the process. Another crucial step, stop betraying yourself to keep others comfortable. Because that's how the wound stays alive. Every time you say yes when you mean no. Every time you stay silent to avoid conflict Every time you minimize your needs, suppress your feelings, or shrink to fit into someone else's expectations, you reopen the original wound. Healing means honoring your truth, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's messy. It means setting boundaries, not to push people away, but to protect your peace. It means showing up for yourself, especially when no one else does. The spiritual wound from childhood taught you that love comes at a cost, that you must earn it, that you must shapeshift to receive it. But true love, real, soul-anchoring love, doesn't demand that you become someone else. It embraces your wholeness. And here's the beautiful irony: when you stop chasing love from a wounded place, it begins to find you. You attract people, experiences, and opportunities that resonate with your healed frequency, not because the world changed, but because you did. The most profound transformations happen when you choose to stop running from yourself, when you sit with the ache instead of numbing it, when you forgive yourself for not knowing better back then, when you hold your past self with the tenderness you always deserved. Let's be clear. Healing doesn't mean forgetting what happened. It means no longer letting it define your worth. It means rewriting the story you were given. It means choosing to believe that you are lovable now, as you are, not after you achieve more, fix more, or prove more. You don't need to become anyone else. You just need to remember who you were before the world told you otherwise. That's where your power lies. That's where your peace begins, and that's where your freedom awakens. So if you've been feeling lost, stuck, or broken, you're not alone. You're on the edge of something sacred, this pain you feel. It's not your enemy. It's your invitation. It's your soul calling you home. Don't rush it. Don't force it, but don't ignore it anymore. Sit with it. Walk with it. Let it teach you. Let it soften you. Let it crack open the armor you built around your heart, because beneath the pain is your light. And that light is indestructible. You don't have to live defined by your wound anymore. You don't have to keep repeating the patterns that hurt you. You get to choose something different now. You get to write a new story. And in that story, you are not broken. You are breaking free. Have you felt this hidden wound in your own life? What helped you begin to heal? Share your experience in the comments. Someone reading may need exactly your words. And if this resonated with you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. There are more insights coming that might change the way you see yourself and your past forever. You deserve healing. You deserve peace. And above all, you deserve to come home to yourself. Let's walk that path together.